Okay. So we see, whosoever abideth in him. Look at this, y'all. Look at this. Watch this. Look at 1 John chapter 3, verse 6. Whosoever abideth in him sinneth not. Wow. Now I know what y'all thinking out there. Y'all getting depressed. Y'all must be like, nobody's abiding in him. All this means is this. Whosoever abideth in him sinneth not. In other words, whosoever is hungering and thirsting after the divine nature, and that's their target, all it means is that they don't live to sin. They don't live to sin. Even if they miss the target that they're aiming at. Listen to the words now. Even if they miss the target that they're aiming at. See, the difference between these people right here is that they're aiming at the target, and it takes practice. It takes dedication, and it takes time to hone your skills to hit the mark. Because you know that most Christians say that sin is missing the mark, right? Well, put me in a room with a person that is missing the mark, but they're aiming at the mark. I don't mind that person. But don't put me in a room with a person that has a gun that's trying to kill me for no reason. I don't want to be in the room with that person, because the mark is sin. Them trying to kill me is the mark of sin. Them trying to aim at the target, which is Yahweh Shai, that's the mark that we should be marking and trying to aim. You see the difference? So if you're aiming at living like the devil, yeah, you're not abiding in him. Listen to this. I'll say it again. These are some tough scriptures for Christians. Most Christians. It says, whosoever abideth him sinneth not. It just means you don't live to sin. If you're abiding in his character, if you're abiding and feeding on his nature, if you are, what's that? John chapter 6, I want to say 54 through 56, something like that. Eat my flesh and drink my blood. Let me see that real quick. Somewhere around there. John chapter 6, verse 50 something. Let me see. Whoa. John chapter... Did I turn past it? Let me see. Was it John? What is that? Oh, I'm in John 7. Let me see. Yeah, John chapter 6, verse whosoever eat 54. Whosoever eat my flesh and drink my blood hath eternal life in him. You know what that means? Whoever is feasting on his nature, on his flesh and his blood, they don't live to sin. They may miss the target every now and then, but they don't live to sin. They don't live to miss the target. They don't live. And so when you go over to whosoever eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood hath eternal life in him, and I will raise him up at the last day. Why? Because you are feeding on the Most High. Let's keep going. I want to tie this up with this. So go back over to 1 John 3, 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresses also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. Verse 5. And ye know that he was made manifest to take away our sin. Why? Because we eat his flesh and drink his blood. We are aiming at him. We want to be like him. Even if we miss while we're aiming at him, we want to be like him. We're not aiming at the devil's standard. We're aiming at him as our standard. Watch this. Whosoever abideth in him sinneth not. In other words, you don't live to sin. That's not your goal in life. Whosoever sinneth hath not seen him. Whoever lives to sin. They focus on sin. They don't know nothing about the Mashiach. Guess what? They're trying to hide stuff from the Mashiach and the saints. It says, guess what? It says, whosoever sinneth hath not seen him, neither known him. He said the same thing in John chapter 8 to the Pharisees. He said, if Abraham were your father, you would love me. Okay, I'm going to do another version, another part to this.